Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be talking all about the Maverick. That's the Ford Maverick pickup truck, that small pickup truck that can do a whole lot. It can handle a whole lot. And you've got your co-host here, Winston, and I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. And today we're going to be covering the XL model. So we're going to do a little build and price. So of course this video will be a bit of a follow along how to, but I'm also going to build and price the best possible XL. And I'm going to be talking about, what does it have? What is it kind of missing? So what are you going to like about the XL? What are you going to maybe dislike or miss? Now, of course, with time, we kind of get used to everything. So I've got sort of like you could say an easygoing perspective on all this. I've got no interest in, trying to convince you to get, the most expensive model. Of course, videos talking about the first edition or Lariat are always more popular. Everyone always seems to be trying to get us to spend more, but that's not my goal here. The goal of this channel for Winston and I is really to help you along with, your automobile buying and shopping experiences and your ownership experiences. So, before we put the pedal to the metal and jump right in, I just want to talk about a little something that's pretty important to Winston and I. Winston's a pretty good salesman, I guess, because he's gotten his mom, Marie, convinced that if we get to 2,000 subscribers, she will take the Maverick. Now, she's been waiting since last summer for an Escape plug-in, and we still don't have a build date. So she said, John, if you get that channel to 2,000 subscribers, I bet you can't, I will get a Maverick. So we're doing this build and price also a bit for her so she can see all the options. She always seems to want the most basic model for the least amount of money. For her, a vehicle is more about transport. For us, it's a passion, and we see vehicles as utility. So Winston, with all his sales skills, reminded Marie of how much he likes to paddleboard. He likes to surf in the pool, and we're thinking, what's going to get into a vehicle better? A paddleboard. Is it going to get better go into an Escape more easily, or a Maverick? Now, I think the Maverick's going to be extremely versatile. I'm convinced ever since I saw how that tailgate can go down at about a 45 degree angle, and from there you just hitch up the cables and you can go straight across the tailgate and really have 6, even 7 feet of box length. So that'll be perfect for a paddleboard, a kayak, or maybe we'll get real creative and try to get the canoe somehow on, in, or around, transported by that Maverick. So let's hope we can make that. I'll need all your help. Please hit like early on so that this video goes out to, into the interwebs. It's like a spider web. So we could use your help with that. And of course, if you subscribe, you'll get more Bronco and Maverick videos, as well as just general Ford product knowledge, as well as the occasional non-Ford model car review. So now let's get right to the point. Let's jump right in. Let's put the pedal to the metal, because we've talked enough about Winston and his convincing Marie that the Maverick will be far more useful. And let's talk about the XL model. So when you're looking at the XL model, you got a starting price of $19,995. That's how everyone's talking about it. But of course, you've got $2,000 in transport and handling. Now, the XLT model is $22,280, and the Lariat model is $25,490. Now, why would you go with the XL? Well, because for the most part, it does the job. It's a good looking vehicle. Now, of course, you'll see from the pictures, it comes right on steel rims, which can be, here's an idea for saving money. Those rims are perfect if you're going to be seeing winters. Keep those rims for winters and get some mags on the side if you want to avoid spending the extra money on the XLT, because it's useful to have 2 sets of wheels if you're doing summer and winter. Now, I think for us, what's useful is the 2.5 liter hybrid engine, but that's not going to be useful for everybody, because if you want 4-wheel drive, you have to go with the 2 liter EcoBoost engine. Now, I've said this in other videos, but the 2 liter EcoBoost engine has been used on the Ford Fusion since 2013, as well as the Escape. It's a relatively low problem engine. Now, the 2 liter engine is also, tried and true with Ford, and it's also very trusted by Ford because they use that in the Escape as the top of the line engine. They use it as the engine for the Ford Edge. They're also using it in the Lincoln product line. So you've got it in the Lincoln Nautilus as well as the Corsair, and they were using it back when it was the Lincoln MKC. And now personally I've had two MKCs. Marie has had one Lincoln MKC, which you've maybe seen in my very early videos, and we love that engine. Plenty powerful. Remember, a Maverick is basically the same weight as an Escape or a Lincoln MKC, and we found it was ample power. I've also had the 2.3 liter MKC, and I didn't notice that much of a difference. It certainly wasn't worth the extra price to go from a 2 liter to a 2.3 liter. I'm convinced the Maverick with a 2 liter you'll find plenty powerful if you are looking for power. Now, if you're not looking for power, let's just jump right into the build process. So, as you can see, you've got all your color options here. There are less colors when you go with the XL. So Area 51 is there. You've got Shadow Black, Oxford White. So Oxford White is an easy color to repaint, unlike any metallic white color that we'll see in just a moment. You have Cactus Gray. People have mixed feelings about this. I've seen it in real on a Bronco Sport. It's pretty nice. I liked it, but you know, color is pretty subjective. You've got the Carbonized Gray. Now you have Iconic Silver. If you're looking for something that's not going to show the dirt, if you're living on dirt roads or you just don't like washing your vehicle, I suggest you go with either Iconic Silver or Carbonized Gray. Both of those have a lot of metallic into the paint, so you could call it metal flake. It's kind of like metal flake. Anyways, it's metallic, it shines in the sun, they look great, they stay clean. And of course, you always have my personal favorite, Velocity Blue. Now, Marie said she'll get an Area 51 if we get this little bet done. So what are you getting with Ford Maverick Hybrid? Well, if you go with the XL, you're getting, of course, that 2.5 liter hybrid engine, which is currently for 98% of the motor and the setup. It's what's used in the Escape. Really, the new difference is that the electric motor is going to be built in-house by Ford, and it's not quite the same setup. That engine ends up being 20 pounds lighter, the electric engine that is, and it uses less copper. So that 2.5 liter hybrid engine is pretty much proven, you could say, and so far it's been going pretty good. It gives a good ride in the Escape. It's a little bit noisy, but you know, you have to have sacrifice at some point. You can't have, you know, it's hard to have everything, and well, in this case, you're gonna have great fuel economy. It looks like the average should be around 36, 37 miles per gallon. You'll get up to 40 miles per gallon, of course, in the city, because these hybrids are more effective at using, you know, at fuel consumption in the city than they are on the highway. And that's because of what a lot of people call regenerative braking, but really how that works is as soon as you let go of the gas pedal, your transmission starts turning in the opposing direction and it charges up the battery. So of course, when you're in town, you're laying off the pedal more often and you're charging that battery up more often. And that's why you get better fuel economy in town. But you're also getting Ford Pass Connect with 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot. For some of you, that might be important. For us, we don't care. You're getting LED headlamps. That's pretty cool that Ford on a base model is offering LED headlamps. For me, it's all about security, and of course, they don't really burn out. So they're long lasting, they give you the lighting that you need, and it's an added safety feature, which for me, you know, they've made backup cameras legally necessary. I don't see why LED headlamps haven't become, you know, a required security feature. You're also getting the 8-inch center stack screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So pretty awesome equipment for an XL. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about what the XL doesn't have. And at a certain point, they're giving us so much, they have to give us a reason to buy more equipped models. So for those of you out there that are frustrated that the XL, you know, doesn't have certain added features like heated seats, you just have to realize that they can't just throw everything on the XL model. They wouldn't sell any of the other models. People aren't going to spend an extra $6,000 just for look alone. Now, of course, you also have that flex bed. The flex bed is what I was talking about being able to put the tailgate down and actually using far more than the 4.5 feet that the box offers. So with that tailgate that you can put down at a 45-degree angle and then put equipment across the wheel wells, you're getting more box. This will be more useful than an Explorer Sport Track, which in the 2000s my parents had, and the box was problematic. It was frustrating at times, but we made it work. But this box is going to be far more useful, especially if you get an XLT with the 10 tie down areas. Or hooks, you could say. Sorry about that. Now, I forgot to mention one safety feature of the XL, and that's the pre-collision assist with automatic emergency braking. How that works is if the vehicle knows you're about to get into an accident, what it's going to do is it's going to pre-charge those brakes, so they're far more effective when you do hit the brake pedal, and last minute they will brake up to about 38 kilometers an hour. So for example, if you're driving 50 and you absolutely don't see what's in front of you, whether it be a bicycle, another vehicle, or a pedestrian, and you never hit the brakes. Well, the brakes are going to pre-charge at first, hoping you notice the obstacle, and then last minute they will brake. Now, they brake up to 38 kilometers an hour, so if you're doing 50, well, you might hit something at 12 kilometers an hour or slightly more. Now, this is better than the vehicle braking on its own way in advance and just, often braking unnecessarily. So this is another, you could say, compromised technology. Some people will complain saying, hey, I still hit something, or hey, why isn't it that it brakes beyond 38 kilometers an hour, whereas other people I've heard with other models from other manufacturers complain that the vehicles brake far too early and as such brake unnecessarily. Okay, so for packages, you can have the Ford Copilot 360 for $540. What that's going to give you is, and it's available on all trim levels, it's going to give you the Bliss with cross traffic alert. So what you have there is in your rear view mirrors, you'll have a little light that lights up when someone's in your blind spot, but cross traffic alert also means that if you're backing up, the vehicle is going to warn you if someone is coming along full speed. So you'll know to stop backing up and, thankfully miss out on getting, your back end just completely destroyed. It also is going to come with a full-size spare. That's important to some people. They don't want to either call roadside assistance, where Ford sends towing and takes care of everything for you, or use the little kit where you inflate your tire with a chemical and it gives you sort of like a temporary patch. So it's got a full size spare, and it also comes with the lane keeping system or lane keeping aid, meaning that if you do start to drive outside of the painted lines, the vehicle will help bring you back to, inside those lines, and also you'll get a little bit of a steering wheel vibration to help wake you up or make sure that you're paying attention. Now for the exterior, as we can see, we have those rims. Of course, you can always keep those rims as great winter rims. Throw on your winter tires, and the summer tires that they provide you, throw on a nice mag. Heck, you can get nice mags for between $100 to $200 a mag for something that'll look really good and give you the look of the XLT. However, you're not gonna have the same interior as the XLT. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But, something I do suggest is getting the splash guards, or what most people call, mud guards. Protect your paint against stone chips. Now, of course, the bottom of this vehicle is all plastic, which is fantastic because I think Ford by now has learned that the bottoms of trucks pick up stone chips. This is what used to cause F-150s before they switched to aluminum paneling. The whole bottom of the doors, the crew cab, would be just completely rusted out because people don't notice when they're getting stone chips. They're not going to crawl underneath their vehicle and do little stone chip touch-ups. So of course, when there's no paint on metal, what warranty or guarantee do we have? Well, we have a guarantee that it's going to rust. And often, even those that do fix their touch-ups, well, if you do a touch-up over a little spot of rust, all that's going to happen is the rust is going to go into the metal, and you're eventually going to end up with holes. So cabs were getting destroyed. It was usually caused by stone chips, and people would get relatively frustrated and blame the manufacturer, as opposed to, well, knowing that it's just caused by the environment, stone chips. You also have the bed divider kit, which can be useful. You also have the toolbox swing case, driver side, for $280. That's going to be useful for some. We certainly don't need that. We'll just throw the tools into the back seat because, well, we don't have anyone sitting back there. I do suggest that if you do want a lot of these accessories, to not hold up your Maverick order, because it could turn out to be sort of like the Bronco, where if you ordered extra accessories, obviously they're not going to ship this vehicle to your dealer for you until all the accessories are available. So anything like the tonneau pickup box cover for $560, or the box cover for $1,160. Now that's a hard tri-fold cover, so it's panels. All of this, all these accessories, I recommend you get after your Maverick comes in, because you don't want your Maverick getting held up for, who knows, 1 month, 2 months, 5 months, because the factory didn't get delivered the accessories you want for your build. So just a reminder, they're only going to ship out your Maverick once they have everything that you ordered your Maverick. They're not going to contact you and say, hey, but by the way, spray and bed liner, we don't have those for X amount of time. Do you want to switch? That would only be on your dealer, and that's if your dealer is even aware that the factory's out of spray and bed liner. And that actually happened in 2021. This spring, the factory ran out for almost 2 months, and actually it was pretty much a global shortage because suppliers didn't have them, local suppliers didn't have them either. So all these accessories, whether it's the bed extender, the bed tray liner, I'd say get them after the fact. However, there's one, and this is a little trick for you. You could always get the hitch after the fact, but with the price that they're offering it from factory, I do suggest you take the factory hitch because it's about $140. We'll see that in just a moment. Now, the manual rear sliding window is something that I can't believe they're only offering for $155. That's great value because on an F-150, if you want that sliding rear window, you have to get an XLT 302. So you need about $6,000 of added equipment to an XLT 300. So you have to go from a 300 all the way to 302 just to have that sliding window. So that's really cool that it's only $155. And I recommend for anyone that's thinking to have, maybe wood pass through, if they need a little bit more box and, you do like to work with wood, I think that's a pretty practical option, and that is dirt cheap. Totally makes sense. Now, just to correct myself, the trail hitch receiver with 4-pin connector is $100, and that 4-pin connector is what is going to allow you to, connect a small trailer and have, for example, brake lights on your trailer. So it's ready to go. And if you're to do this aftermarket, well, the hitch is going to be about $150 to $200 just for the hitch, and the wiring isn't that much. It's about $150 for the wiring. However, Ford, when they offer wiring, Ford dealerships aren't supposed to allow you to just take the wiring and splice into the rear light. The reason for that is when and if the light burns out, it's probably going to be caused by the hitch and it won't be covered by warranty. So at a Ford dealership, if you're getting this installed there and you're to do the wiring, they have to put the wiring all the way to the computer in the front, meaning they've got to run wiring, that $150 wiring with the $150 hitch. You're at about $300. Well, they'll wire that all the way to the front, and it's going to be about 4 hours, a 4 or 5 hour job. So it's going to end up being about a $700 job instead of from factory for $100. Now, I'd say for that kind of difference, it's worth taking the risk of receiving your Maverick maybe a month later. So now for the interior, I've reviewed Bronco Sports. I've been inside the brand new big Bronco. Ford is really on par when it comes to interior cloth. I'm convinced that the XL's interior, the cloth, is going to be fantastic. I'm sure it's going to be just like on the big Bronco as well as the Bronco Sport. So it's going to have a great feel to it. It's going to be thick. It's going to be durable. It's not going to feel like cheap carpeting like we saw from Ford trucks in the 1990s and early 2000s. So I can say that I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to say that I love the interior material on this. However, where I'm convincing Marie to go with an XLT is because the interior of the XLT just looks sharper. It's two-tone. The whole interior, I find, has a better look to it. And I'm just finding that the XL, whereas it's going to be nice cloth, I'm sure there's no difference between the XL cloth and the XLT cloth. It's just a question of appearance, and I'm also thinking resale, and I also don't want to crack out, I don't want us to crack out the credit card to pay for some mags when you can just go with, an XLT that already comes with really, really nice mags. So if you're thinking that part of your vehicle purchase is about aesthetics and you want something that looks sharp, go with an XLT. Like covered in the beginning of the video, it's not that huge of a difference. It's about $2,000 or $2,800. And I think that if you do want something that just looks a little nicer, that's the way to go. Now, here's another pretty impressive feature that I absolutely love. Ford is willing to offer you on their base model, the bargain one that they don't make a whole lot of money on. They make far less than if they're selling you a Lariat. A lot of manufacturers will say, hey, you want an opening roof, you have to go with the most equipped model. Well, here you can have the opening roof for $795. That's pretty good, and it's a power tilt moonroof. So moonroof, that's pretty cool. It's not the huge panoramic roof. Ford usually sells those for about, $1,700 Canadian, 1,750. So American, it must be about $1,500, but this one's $795. You're gonna press a button, and moonroof means it's just gonna slide into the roofing. So it's gonna look good, it's gonna look sharp, and even if you don't need to have that roof open, it does open up the cabin space. I just talked to a friend yesterday, and I asked him, do you need a roof, a power moonroof? Sorry, not a power moonroof, but the whole panoramic roof on your next F-150. And honestly said, I never open it, but I just like the extra, luminosity, the extra open feelingness. It really makes your cabin feel brighter, bigger, and less confined. Now, talking about powertrains. For powertrains, it's not too bad. They're not charging us an arm and a leg for that 2-liter engine. It's only $1,085, but it'll still be front-wheel drive. Picking the 2-liter EcoBoost engine doesn't kick you right into an all-wheel drive. If you do want the all-wheel drive, well, there's some conditions to that. And, it's $3,305 very small conditions, because that's what it's going to cost you, $3,305 to get the all-wheel drive. But you need to first add that $1,000 engine, which is dirt cheap for the extra power it provides. And then you're spending $3,300, so you got $4,300 to go with an all-wheel drive 2-liter turbo. Now, if you like performance, you might feel it's worth it. If you absolutely are convinced that you need all-wheel drive. And by the way, the all-wheel drive system from Ford is fantastic. The technology and know-how that's in there goes all the way back to when Ford owned Volvo and Land Rover. This is a very smart all-wheel drive system, just like in your Lincolns. So, up to 16 times per second, it can distribute different percentages of power to each wheel. So I can tell you, and I can promise you, I've driven through some crazy winter storms, everywhere from 2 to 4 inches. And, the best was in my Lincoln MKS, because it's a wide, long vehicle. But the intelligent all-wheel drive on that 2013 or 2013 MKS, I could just plow through anything. I've even had to pull onto the side of the highway with some fresh plowed snow to avoid a vehicle, and I must have been driving through 4 or 5 inches or more of snow, and I just went through in a straight line. Unbelievably safe. You'll absolutely love it. But I am convinced that front-wheel drive will do 99% of what you need it to do. Now, this is going to be Marie's truck if I do win this bet. So she's only driving in town, so it'll be fine to get her to work and back. And well, if we have to go anywhere with, for example, if we go up to where the mountainous region, or the more mountainous region where my parents are, they have a kilometer of private road. It's often in 4 or 5 inches of snow. Well, you know what? We'll just bring the Bronco. Now, if you do get an XL, you probably want to think long and hard about the Copilot 360, because either you're going to love it or you're not going to like it. But that and the hitch are really the two things that stand out for me, as well as the roof. I think the roof for $795 is a really good bargain. But if you don't add anything, you're going to end up with $22,575, because there are the destination charges that are $1,495. What does this really mean on payment? A lot of people aren't going to be paying these cash. We don't see that very often these days. That's more our parents' generation. And if you finance this, keep in mind that right now, the 5.9 interest rate that they're showing, if you finance it, you'll almost certainly be able to get a better interest rate than that from the bank. Dealerships have access to pretty darn good interest rates from banks when the vehicle is new. So, your dealership can probably look at getting that to you for either 3.9, 4.9, or worst case scenario, low 5%, as long as you have, okay credit. So you might want to put in your own interest rate here to really try to figure out what you think the actual price will be. Now, at 5.9, it makes for a monthly payment on 84 months of $296 as a monthly payment. Now, if I were to put in my own interest rate, so let's say I put this in at 3.9, I think that's reasonable. A lot of people should have access on a new vehicle purchase to go with a bank at 3.9%. and you're getting $374 as a monthly payment on 5 years. $317 as a monthly payment on 72 months. And then once I put in my own interest rate, now of course it doesn't allow me to take 84 months, but a bank should allow you 84 months at 3.9. And sometimes though, when you go to 84 months, the banks increase the interest rate a little. So I'll just keep it at 72 months at 3.9 and say that, hey, we're finishing up at 317 per month. Now you might want to consider leasing this. And unfortunately the Ford.com website currently doesn't it doesn't give you any information about leasing, but here's a little trick. Go to the Ford.ca website, build the same vehicle, and of course it's in Canadian, but it'll at least give you an idea of more or less what you can expect if you do lease. Now I can tell you, I have access to the lease residuals. I'm not gonna make this video longer by talking about them now, but they are good. It's pretty impressive. The residual means it's the percentage that Ford expects you to pay over a certain period of time, and over a 48-month lease, the residual percentage is pretty high. It's playing around 50%. Close to at the moment. So you're going to be able to lease this for less than you can purchase it. So if you're just looking for the lowest monthly payment, at least in Canadian, you can have an XL for under $200 leased. So if you just want to get an idea of what a lease might look like, you can always build this on the Ford.ca website, where you'll get an idea of what a lease in Canadian works out to. I can tell you the residuals are really high, which is really good. That means the percentage of the vehicle that Ford expects you to pay over 3, 4, or 5 years is not, it's high. So that means they're not expecting you to pay that much of the vehicle. So, there is access to about 50%, meaning you pay 50% of the vehicle over a period of time, but who knows what it'll be on the .com, the US side. So I'll let that come out. Anyways, for now, the main goal is reserve your Maverick. And I do recommend that you're open to the idea of a lease. At least check what the lease prices are when they are available before just jumping right into a purchase. I often find leasing is a great way to switch vehicles more often because you have the option of finding someone to take over your lease, or you can buy out or sell out your lease, as well as the fact that if you do have a serious accident, you can always wait to the end and return the vehicle if it's worth less than the buy option at the end. So that protects you from loss of value, which if you're on purchase, you're completely responsible for the value of your vehicle when you go to sell or trade it in, as well as if your vehicle does get totaled or stolen. It's really simple when you're on lease. You just go pick out another one. So I hope all this information has been helpful. If so, please like and subscribe. It really helps feed a poodle, helps us out, and stay tuned because we'll have more Maverick videos. Shortly, we'll be going over an XLT, which is my preferred build. This is what Marie has confirmed she'll get if we hit 2,000 subscribers. So stay tuned for more Maverick and Bronco and just general Ford information, car reviews, and the occasional, tips and tricks for maintaining and taking care of your vehicle. I wish you all more cars and more power, and I hope you get to put the pedal to the metal this week.